Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's December, which means it's the end of the year. Christmas is upon us. I just put my tree up and I wanted to show it off a little bit. That's kind of why I was waiting to film this video, just to get in the Christmas spirit while I film. It's my TBR time. I have a small book haul. I took part of the Book Outlet $5.99 fiction sale, so I have a box next to me. It's like 13 books, I think, but I also got a couple for my mother-in-law for Christmas, and yeah. And then for Amazon's Black Friday deals, I got 2 books. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today with my TBR. It's the end of the year. We're finishing things up. How nice would it be to go into the new year with fewer books that I'm in the middle of on my TBR? I made a video a couple months back talking about the books that I have started but never finished. They are on this bottom shelf here and then like halfway on the middle shelf also. So I'm going to pick my prompts like normal, but I'm going to try to pick books that I have started but never finished, because I think it'll feel better to go into the new year with fewer books in my currently reading list and have them as finished books. First, I'm going to do my mini book haul. I think I'm going to talk about 15 books, maybe. I bought 13 from Book Outlet and then 2 from Amazon, so probably it's going to be like 15. So first from Amazon, I got The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I'm going to be participating in the 52 book club this coming year in 2025. And one of the prompts is 1 million+ copies sold, and I'm choosing Secret History, and my friend and I are going to read it together because she's also doing the challenge. If you've never heard of the 52 book challenge, it's been going on since 2017 or 2018, and every year they put out 52 prompts in December, and you read throughout the year to read books throughout the year that fit each of those prompts. And the goal is to read a book a week, yada yada. This is my first year that I'm actually going to participate, because I found out about it in the middle of 24, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to finish it in 24. So I think I'm going to try to finish it this year for the first time. So Secret History, it's one of the main staples of dark academia. It is the founder of dark academia. Under the influence of charismatic classics professor, a group of clever eccentric misfits at a New England college discover a way of thought and a world away from their banal contemporaries. But their search for the transcendent leads them down a dangerous path beyond human constructs and morality. So, I've heard this is super good. What really finally pushed me over the edge is I watched Ian Gubelli, him reading it, and it made me want to read it even more. I bought 2 Stephen King books. So I got Lisey's Story and I got Firestarter by Stephen King. This one I know is pretty popular. I know that both of these are on like TV or a movie. So I got 2 Stephen King books because I love him. I love his writing. I got Filthy Rich Vampire because I've seen a lot about this, but I've never actually read what it's about. I know it's like a dark romance with vampire. That's about it. But it was intriguing, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I bought Filthy Rich Vampire. I bought The Girl in the Stars. This is the first book in the Book of the Ice series by Mark Lawrence, and it is about a girl who goes into the pit of the missing to save her brother, and it's supposed to just be like a sacrificial pit, basically, but she finds a whole life down there. So I've heard good things. I know Covers with Cassidy read this with her book club, and she really likes Mark Lawrence, and I really love her recommendations a lot, so I got that book. I got The Passenger by Cormac McCarthy. So 10 people went up in a plane. The Coast Guard goes because the plane crashes in a lake. So the Coast Guard goes to save them and finds only 9 people, and the 10th passenger is gone, and the pilot bag is also gone. So they have to look for the 10th passenger. I really don't think any of this is going to make sense, but it's fine. Then I got The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. She wants to be a an author, and she goes to a writing retreat at an author's estate, and then they must write an entire novel before the end of the month. But then things go wrong. One of the authors there in like the retreat vanishes, and they have to find them or discover the truth, etc. Then I got Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. So I've tried reading her other one, Dead Silence, and I never got into it because it had to go back to the library. I just didn't get to it in time. But I've been seeing good things about Ghost Station. One of my friends at work read it and said she really enjoyed it, and she's not normally into sci-fi. So I'm going to read this, and I'm very excited. I don't want to go into this knowing much. It just is an abandoned planet, a hidden past, a deadly danger. Yeah, it's Ghost Station. Space station that was supposed to have people on it, but everybody's probably dead. It's a sci-fi psychological thriller, so it sounds cool. And then I got, where's the other one? I got The Foxglove King and the Hemlock Queen by Hannah Whitten. And normally having one in paperback and one in hardcover would bother me, but they were $5, so it doesn't really bother me that much. And they're almost the same size, even though they're different types of books. I've heard a lot about this series as a whole. It makes it it's very intriguing to me. That's why I bought both of them. I think I'm going to really like it, so I thought it would be smart to get both right off the bat. Normally I try not to do that, and I say that as I have another 2 books from the same series in this box. But it's a gothic, dark, romantic, epic fantasy series. And I like gothic things, I like dark romances, and I like fantasy, so what could go wrong, right? So I got those 2. And then the last thing I got was The Starless Crown and The Cradle of Ice by James Rowland. This is another series, the Moonfall series, books 1 and 2. I've seen these books for a very long time. I've been tempted to buy them for about 4 years now. Well, at least the first one. Ever since I saw the first one, I've wanted it. It's about a gifted student foretelling an apocalypse. She flees, so she's not killed. She comes across a team of outcasts, a soldier, a prince, and a thief, and they're all on the run. And yeah, I don't know. It just sounds fun to me. So that was my book haul. And then the last book I got was the second book of Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I don't remember what it's called. Tales from the Cafe, I think. I read, now to go back to the TBR, why we're actually here today. So, I read the first book of Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and that is all I read this month. However, that was on my TBR, and I did start The Starless Sea. So, technically, I did make progress on 2 books. I finished a book, and I made progress on another book on my TBR. Everything else, just kind of sat on the wayside. I just didn't get to it. However, I did finish up school. I only have like 2 assignments left, and I'm going to go do those tonight, and then I have a final. And then after that, I am completely done with school for the semester. So I have a full month and a half to A, film, and B, read. So I'm going to be reading as much as possible in December. I'm hoping to get through about 5 or 6 books. And then the first half of January, I'm also free. I don't have school. So I'm hoping to start off the year very well with reading. And like I said, I'm going to try to pick books that I have started but never finished. And if one of them does not fit the prompt, I do have some books on here that I have not started. Plus, I have all of the books that I just showed that I could technically choose from. So, draw number 1 is going to be a book with a person on the cover. So, I do have some options that I've started but haven't finished. I could do person on the cover. I could do Empire of the Vampire. I could do Blood of Elves. I could do Fairy Tale or Mistborn. I honestly think I could technically do Dark Matter because there are people on the cover. So, I have actually a good amount of choices for this one. I've got 5 choices for this one. I think I'm going to go with Dark Matter, though, because I've been wanting to read this. Literally when I bought it, I sat and read the entire first chapter in one sitting and then put a bookmark in it because I had to do some chores around the house and then never came back to it. So, I'm going to be reading Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. If you don't know what this is about, so the tagline for Dark Matter is actually, "Are you happy with your life?" A kidnapper knocks a man unconscious. When the man wakes up, he's strapped to a gurney, and a man that he's with says, "Welcome back." The world that he's woken up to, his life is not as the one that he normally is living. His wife is not his wife. His son's not born. And he's not an ordinary college professor, but he's a genius who achieved something remarkable. So, I'm excited for that one. That one sounds really cool. I've been wanting to read it ever since it blew up on YouTube last year. So this is the perfect time. So I think I'm going to do 5 or 6. I think I'm probably going to do 6 again. I always do 6, and I never actually read 6. But it's a good number, and it looks better in my journal. So that's what I'm going to do. Next is read a book with a bright colored cover. I don't know what I'm reading. This one's easy. I'm going to finish Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is about an octopus and a caretaker. I also need to read the rest of this because my mother-in-law loaned this to me, so I need to get this done sooner rather than later. So Tova, her husband has died, and she begins a night shift at the aquarium, just mopping and tidying up. And then one night, the giant Pacific octopus gets out and she saves his life. And they become friends. I know that sounds really weird, but they become friends. And I don't know how much of this book. I think I'm going to read the Remarkably Bright Creatures via audiobook because the octopus has his own narrator, and it's a beautiful narrator. The book itself is beautiful, but the audiobook, for what I listened to, is amazing. I listened to it in tandem while I was reading it, and the octopus's narrator is hilarious. Read a book with flowers on the cover. Do any of these have flowers? Does this count? Oh, actually I do have one. I don't have the dust jacket. So the dust jacket for Divine Rivals has flowers on it. Bingo. So I think I'm going to do that one. I'm actually going to stick with this prompt, and I can do a book that I've started. So I'm going to continue with Divine Rivals. I'm on chapter 8, which is page 62. But the dust jacket is flowers. So I'm going to go with Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. If you haven't heard of Divine Rivals yet, I don't know what to tell you. This book is blown up everywhere. It's a historical fantasy romance. There's a war between gods. The main characters, they work for a newspaper, and they're competing for a position, like a promotion. And her life is not going well. Her brother's on the front line, and they haven't heard from him since he went off to war. So they don't know if he's alive. And her family member, I can't remember if it's her mom or her grandma, just kind of has given up. She just kind of lives in filth. And Iris one night starts writing letters, and she just throws the letters in her wardrobe. She's got a typewriter, so she writes her letters on a little typewriter, puts them in her wardrobe, and then wakes up to a response. And she doesn't know who it is. She's just writing to this stranger. And then, her job and Roman's job are overlapping, and their lives start interconnecting a little more. And it's a romance between them, and mostly fantasy, mostly historical. And then a little bit of touch of romance. So that's my third book. So far, I'm not mad at this pile. None of them are super long, and I think I could honestly finish all three of them pretty quick. Next book. A book out of my comfort zone. So, I know I said I was going to try to pick some books that I am trying to finish. However, I do have a book that fits this. So, read a book out of my comfort zone, I can do. I'm not going to pick one that I've started. However, I'm picking a really short book. So, I will give context to this. I've read this author before. I did not like what I read. I'm giving her a second try because I've heard this book is super good. And I trust the people that have said it's good. So, I'm going to be reading The Storied Life of A.J. Thickery by Gabrielle Zevin. I think I'm in the minority when I say I did not like Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I tried it. I got about 150 pages in. Could not do it. It was just too slow, and the writing of that book confused me. It just really confused me, and I did not enjoy it. So I'm going to try this one, because this one's shorter, and I like the premise of this one more. So A.J. Thickery's life is not what he expected. He lives alone. His bookstore is experiencing the worst sales in history, and his prized possession, a rare collection of Poe poems, has been stolen. But when a mysterious package appears at the bookstore, and its unexpected arrival gives him a chance to make his life over. And yeah, I'm just super excited. I think this book looks super cute. I forgot to mention, this is a book that I got in the box for Book Outlet. I just forgot that I bought this one too. So I'm going to say that this one counts because I've been wanting to read it. It's out of my comfort zone because I haven't liked the author's previous work that I've read. Plus it's like a literary fiction. So that's my book for that. Next, number 5. Read a book published before you were born. Were any of these published before I was born? When were you published? No. When were Game of Thrones published? I'm assuming probably after I was born, but... Wait. That's this old. Okay. I'm honestly not mad. So, Game of Thrones was published before I was born. I was born in 1999, so I'm just going for anything. I'm going to count 1999 because I was born at the end of 99. So, I'm going to go with Game of Thrones, I think, because I don't think any of these other books were published before 1999. I made it halfway almost. I'm on page 380, chapter 35. Yeah, I'm going to choose this because I was enjoying it. It takes a lot out of me to physically read it. When I get into the audiobook mood, I will pick this up. So that's 5. Do I want to go crazy and do like 8? I don't have to finish my TBR. Like, technically, I don't have to finish my TBR. Number 6. Read a super hyped book. Here we go. I can do this one. It's just which one am I willing to put on my TBR? Because I could do Mistborn, because Mistborn's very, very hyped. Like, super, super hyped. Or I could do Red Rising. I think I'm going to do Red Rising. I've put this on, like, every single TBR. I'm, like, 2 or 3 chapters in. And I would love to actually read this. I do have the audiobook, the graphic audiobook from my library right now. So maybe I'll listen to this while I read it, etc. That's book number 6. Read something cozy. No way. Oh, actually, I'm going to do this one. So number 7 is read something cozy. My friend and I are going to buddy read a book. It's this one. It's The Holly Dates by Brittany C. Cherry. And she wanted to read a Christmas book, and I've never read a Christmas book. She's never read a Christmas book. So we're going to be reading A Christmas Romance, which neither of us are super pumped about it. I don't know. I think we are. It's just not our forte. So I'm going to do that as a cozy book. Christmas time is a cozy time. I'm going to cuddle up next to my tree with my Christmas blanket and read this book. The Holly dates, Brittany Cherry. We'll see how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, last draw. This one's perfect. Read a book you've owned longer than 1 year. And I already know what I'm going to pick. Wait. December of last year. I feel like I've owned quite a few of these longer than that. But The Blood of Elves. I have owned this book for a couple years now. And I started it back in, I want to say like 2021 or 2020. I honestly think my in-laws were still living in Chicago. So like before 2020, I've owned this book. And that's when I started it. And I really, really, really like the prequels. So I think I'm going to read this. That'll be my 8th book. Let's do a recap. So as always, I'm just going to preface it. Do not hold me accountable for all these books. You know I don't read a lot because of school and work and all that. Hopefully I can start reading more because school's over, but we'll see. So, we're going to go starting with the beginning. I don't remember what it was. Oh, read a book with a person on the cover is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And then I got a bright colored cover. I think this is pretty bright, and it also has bright in the title. So it's Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. And then I got flowers on the cover, and I have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. And then I got Read a Book Out of Your Comfort Zone, Storied Life of A.J. Fickery, because I did not like her book that I read before. A book published before you were born. I'm choosing Game of Thrones for that. And then I got a super hyped book. I got Red Rising. And then a book you've owned longer than 1 year. I picked Blood of Elves. And then read something cozy. I picked The Holly Dates. I guess that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble about books. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving if your family celebrates Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a great holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and goodbye.